Ha, good job. All right. Thank you, Miss Debbie. Good job. Next time, just say it out loud, yell at me, which you have no problem doing, by the way. So she does it in a nice way. It's because she loves me. I listen. That's her love language to me. We're good. So, uh, but has everybody here understand or ever like looked at what neuroplasticity is? Do we know what that word means? Do we know what it is? No. Okay. So neuroplasticity is how our brain connects and either strengthens or weakens the nerve cells in the brain. Okay. So when you learn a new habit, when you repeat an action, new synapses, connections are created and existing ones can become stronger or weaker. This is scientifically proven. Okay. Like it's just proven that that's how our brain works. Okay. So what does that mean? That's we can change it, right? If you practice something, it will literally rewire your brain. Okay. And I have one of the things I've seen here is really getting people to understand like how important their why and mindset is, right? Danny Young understands his why. He has a very clear why of who he is, where he wants to be, what he wants to do, and I love that he talks about it, who he'll let be in his life, right? And when he sees someone he wants to be around, he says it. I go basically like bomb their life. Like I figure out how to get in that person's life because I want to be around them. Okay. So like, do you feel like you have imposter syndrome? Do you have self-doubts? Do you have negative thoughts? You know, um, we've learned all those. We weren't born with those. Those are all things we've learned because we've told ourselves. Okay. But guess what the best part is? We can unlearn all of this. You literally can rewire your brain and your neuroplasticity to unlearn it. Okay. So basically, right, we can brainwash ourselves. It's about what you want. What do you want to believe? Okay. And I said this earlier and I'm going to say it again. There is a reason the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror. And guess what? We look in that rear view mirror way more than we should when it comes to our own lives, when we should be looking out that windshield. Okay. So, how do we do that, right? What do we say? Somebody might say, like, be frustrated right now, like, I'm never going to be successful here. Okay. If you tell yourself that, you're probably not going to be. Okay. But what you can change is how you say it. Okay. You can say, I am worthy of success. I am capable and I will be successful every day. Because your brain also knows if you're a liar or not. Okay. So you can't tell your like I said it earlier on the call. So it's just kind of all tied into it, right? I don't believe in going, oh, $1 million flows through me and it's coming into my bank account magically. Yay. Like that shit don't work. That your brain knows you're full of shit. Your brain knows that's just not true, right? So I'm gonna pick on Miss Jess here for a sec, okay? That would be like Miss Jessica training for those that don't know. She's a very successful fitness competitor, and that would be like her training for that and going, "Yay, I'm just gonna have six-pack abs. My body is gonna have six-pack abs, and I'm gonna have the strands in my leg and my glute show when I go on stage. And it's just gonna happen because I believe it." She will tell you that is not how it happened. She will tell you she worked her ass off. And she will tell you she was in the gym multiple times a day. And she will tell you she watched what she ate. Okay. It's the same thing here, but we just tell ourselves it's not, right? Like we literally just, it's so, like I will tell you guys, it is so crazy to me here. Like how quickly cleaning under the silverware drawer becomes popular for people when it's time to pick up the phone. It's wild to me. um, but it's because we've told ourselves that and we've rewired it. Okay. So, like, if you're struggling with that, how do you rewire it? Okay. So, one of the things I tell myself all the time, right? I am a supportive, compassionate friend. I speak clearly, openly, and vulnerably with my partner, Mel, even when she doesn't like it, and in my life. And everybody on my team is my partner, right? We're all business partners in this, okay? And I do that to those who matter in my life, okay? Like that's something I try to tell myself every day. So how do we do it? How do we rewire our brain? Okay. How do we rechange it? How do we do it? So there's 3 steps to creating an affirmation. Okay. Again, the magic we're going to have money doesn't work, right? That would be like, I'm gonna pick on Miss Kristen here for a second. Miss Kristen telling herself, I'm going to be as tall as Trevor. I just believe it, right? I believe I'm going to be as tall as Trevor, right? She might want to, but at this point, it's not going to happen. Okay. So, right. So you have to do it. So here's what affirmations need to be. First and foremost, they have to be true. Okay. So step 1, that needs to be true. Step 2, it needs to be empowering. Okay. It has to empower you. All right. And 3, it needs to be in the present tense. Okay. That present tense really matters. Okay. Because we can't change one thing in our past. It is what it is. It is, we are where we are. Okay. Now, I've shared a bunch of mine already in the file folder with everybody. Those are a bunch I use. I also have some others. But again, I've really been thinking about this. And Danny, just when Danny said it today, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this today. Because everybody's is going to be a little bit different on what that matters to you. Okay. So it needs to be true. It needs to be empowering. It needs to be in present tense. Okay. I'm never going to be successful here because I'm scared to dial. Okay. That is something I have a lot of people, a lot privately reach out to me about. Okay. Instead, tell yourself every day, I'm building success by working hard every day. I am working towards that, right? I am building success by working hard every day, right? I am getting great on the phone by making my calls at my scheduled time every day. Okay. So instead of you telling yourself, I'm scared of the phone, I'm going to do that because your brain, remember, your brain knows you can't just tell yourself, I'm the best person ever on the phone. You can't tell your brain knows that you're scared. But what you're doing is you're working towards that. Okay. You're working on rewiring your brain. And as you tell yourself that over and over and over, it will change. Okay. Like back to understanding how that neuroplasticity works. Okay. It literally, if you like watch it under a microscope, okay, it can rewire itself to like compensate for like damages. Say you lose your eye, right? We all know we need 2 eyes for depth perception. And your brain, if you lose one, it will teach you how to have better depth perception with one eye. Okay. It's the same way here. Okay. How many have like right? We've all had a bad day, right? I'm not happy, right? Instead, I choose happiness and gratitude in my life. I choose to have happiness and gratitude. I choose to focus on what I'm grateful for and find happiness in what I already have. How many of us forget to go down and sit down and say, hey, I'm really thankful that I have this, right? I'm thankful for this person in my life. I'm thankful for these things in my life. I talked about on the call earlier, right? Listening to Todd Spivey talk about, man, do you know how happy I am to be able to get up and use the bathroom and just flush the toilet, right? Brandon he talked about Brandon just got power back yesterday. Isn't that power for 3 weeks? Like those events also help rewire our brains to remind us like, hey, like it's there. Okay. For those who aren't confident, right? You're not confident because you're telling yourself in your brain, I'm not confident in technology. I'm not confident in dialing. I'm not confident in closing. I'm not confident in follow up. I'm not confident in insert your word here. Okay. Change it to this. I trust myself in every situation. Tell yourself that every day, right? Because trust is the first piece of confidence. Okay. I trust myself in this situation to do this. I trust myself that I'm going to do the best for my clients. I trust myself that I'm going to be the best partner for my kids. I trust that I'm going to be the best at this technology that I can be. I trust that I'm working towards it, right? So it's true, it's empowering me, and it's present tense. So we want to make sure we're working on those type of things, okay? Do you go to pick up the phone or use switchboard or any of those things and find yourself anxious or worried? Okay. And it can be about work, it can be about life in general. Tell yourself, I am working on becoming more calm and centered, even in the most challenging situations. I am working on that. Okay. Because if you say, I am calm, your brain knows you're not calm. Your brain knows you're terrified. Right. So you have to rewire how your brain works back and forth. Okay. But that's something now we're working, right? It's now empowering, it's now true, and it's now present tense. Okay. I'm a procrastinator. I procrastinate. I'm unorganized, right? Another one I hear a lot. Okay. Um, I am working on taking actions towards my goals and focusing on doing what needs to be done. Okay. I am capable of achieving my own goals and strategy, not just a plan. Okay. Again, you guys hear me talk about all the time, right? I'm big on strategy, not just a plan. We can plan to do whatever we want, right? Like I can plan to do X, but if I don't have a strategy, I'm not going to get there. Okay. I'm not very disciplined. Okay. Right. I'm going to make decisions with confidence and clarity and confidence so I can achieve the life that I want, right? Like I'm going to make those decisions every day with clarity and confidence so I can achieve the life I want, right? With technology, I am more technologically savvy than I know, and new technologies come easy to me, right? I'm telling myself I'm going to learn this, right? I'm going to make it easy, right? Everybody in their life struggles with I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough, I just don't have that belief, you know. I tell myself I am enough and I improve every single day through my thoughts and actions. Just remember 1% of a day compounded is 365% better a year. That is a massive number. And we would all kill to have 300% returns on our money every year. Well, we can do that on our life, which is way more valuable. Okay. I'm afraid of letting down my kids. I'm afraid of letting down my mentor. I'm afraid of letting down my spouse. I'm afraid of letting down myself, whatever it is. Okay. What I say is, I am resilient and I learn from everything I fail at. And everything that happens is a lesson for me to grow and get better. So those are things I'm telling myself. Every no I get, right? That was a failure. It was a no. But guess what? I'm resilient. I learn from that and it teaches me a lesson and I get better. And I can tell you, right? Like I'm better now today at helping a client than I was a month ago, and way better than I was 2 months ago, and way better than I was 3 months ago because I'm working on that, telling myself that. Okay. So, what about if you're shy, if you're reserved? You're like, I'm a little more quiet. I like to hang out in the background. Okay. You have to tell yourself, I'm open to new, meaningful relationships and connections in my life, right? I am open to that. I am open to new, meaningful connections and new relationships in my life, right? When we're hard on ourselves, when we beat up ourselves, I am going to start treating myself with more kindness, grace, and find ways to celebrate my success. Okay. And that last part matters. You have to find a way to celebrate your wins, no matter what they are, even when they're small. Hey, have I been struggling to make 50 calls in a dial session and I did it today? Celebrate that, right? Celebrate it, right? Have you been struggling to follow up and then you got all your follow ups done today? Celebrate that, okay? Like those are things, like that matter. So I share that so you can sit down and write and take your time and do that and look at things that are important in your life. Because I don't know what's, as well as we're all getting to know each other, right? I don't know what's important in every single person's life and what they're, where they really want to be and where they want to go. But if you do that, you will literally change the literal wiring in your brain, and it will make learning new skills, breaking habits so much more fun to do. Ugh, I'm tired of talking now. So I've just talked the last hour and a half. So
I was going to say, do you ever get tired? My goodness.
yes, I do. I am human. So, um,
I'm a
But
conscious millionaire. That's my favorite.
yeah, like, right, you're working towards there, right? I am working hard every day at becoming a millionaire, right? So you're working at it, right? Like she's not just like, again, I hate the people that are like, I don't hate anybody. I really dislike people that are the just magically tell you to meditate and, millions of dollars are going to come into your account. Like that
Not
doesn't work
true.
that way. That's like, I was telling Bender a little bit about that story, right? The person last night that she was 60, got $100,000 policy. She's now 70 and she wants 300K for less money. Like there's just not like it doesn't work that way. So like understanding that side of it, I think is really important here because we do get told no a lot, right? Like you have to learn to be okay with rejection, right? And getting told no, right? No is just a stepping stone to my yes. And that matters to me. All right. Questions. Well,
I like how you use the thing that you have fear around or the part of your brain that you know tends to go towards the negative to help you formulate the affirmation. That's a really good way because that, like you say, then it helps you reprogram in reality what you need.
because we're naturally wired to be negative to self-protect ourselves. Like it's our natural DNA. You guys have heard me talk about this before that have been on here or have listened to them. Our natural DNA for thousands of years is, hey, I gotta make sure this elephant doesn't run me over, this tiger doesn't eat me. Like self-preservation was much harder than it is right now. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it was a very different lifestyle than it is today. You know, Eileen's, grandparents up in Alaska had a very different way of growing up, you know, and, think about what they were at when they were, in their mid 30s and what their lifestyle and the things they had access
Oh.
to versus what you have access to now, right? It is radically different. So, our brains are wired that way. So we have to change it. And like, that's one of the things that connected me to symmetry was they believe in that. Like, that's part of the culture and the core values and being successful in sales. That's where like, if you change that, it will help you be more successful.
Trevor, you mentioned, I know you shared some of your affirmations. So do you have different affirmations depending on where you are or in your mindset, or how often do you change your affirmations too?
It depends. I'm always kind of tweaking them just because I'm a little bit of a nerd that way. But if you go into the files, they're there, right?
Yeah.
And I have
Yep.
them labeled like sales, growth mindset, abundance, focus. I have those saved like in the notes on my phone, and I read those to myself every day. Like when I'm walking major, I take my phone with me and I just read them like out verbally out loud. I'm just like, hey, I'm telling this if, and yeah, they're different. They're different today than they were a year ago. Like not all of them, but some of them because what I chose to do and picking this up is change what direction I want to go.
Cool.
And then, yeah, like if I'm ever really struggling, right? Like I'll talk to somebody and say, hey, like my brain's here right now. Like I'm really annoyed with this. So, here's where I'm at, am I being like, you know, basically, am I being a bitch? Like that's what I tell myself. That's me. Okay. I'm not saying anybody else has to do that, but that's how I talk to myself. And usually I am. Usually I'm being a whiny little bitch. So I change it. Okay. I say, right, okay, I'm going to work on this. And then I make sure like I add that in and I'm telling myself that if I find I'm struggling with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well,
But you
what
find the mute, yes.
what's that? Oh, if you can find the mute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
at
unmute.
least we
Yeah,
don't have to star six here.
exactly.
That gets me every time.
Yeah, and then because then it hangs for a second, you start talking, and then it's it's not there. So, all right. Well, what sales questions do we have today? Anything anybody struggling with sales wise? Questions of stuff they're working on. So, are you guys just gonna be like super easy on me today?
Super
Feel it.
easy on you because you already gave so much, so many
Oh,
times. I heard the Razor Ridge call was fantastic.
Yeah, thanks. It was good to be on there. I really like Todd. Todd's a sales nerd like me. So like Todd and I can talk for hours. Like we can like get in the weeds about like tweaking a text. Like that's like I'm weird like that. Like I'm like I'll work on like one word. Why am I putting that word there or that word there? Like that's literally stuff I talk to Todd about now. Like, hey, like why is that? Like why are we saying it there instead of there? And so like here's what I'm nerd I am. I'm starting to become friends with Amy Fine, and we chat, and um I'm trying to find out like who does their script stuff to like be a nerd with them. Like that's like one of like I want to just talk to him about like, hey, how do you do your script? Like how do we, how do you do like I'm into that kind of thing. So that's fun to me. So um those kind of things matter. And again, everybody here is different, right? We're all at different stages of our life. We all got different things that matter. And it's really so that knowing now, right? True, empowering, present tense, right? If you do that, you can help write your own. And here's the thing that really helped me when I changed from using others to writing my own, they became way more impactful. Even if I just tweaked it a hair, a lot of what I see is just I've listened to one, I'm like, oh, I like that, but then I tweak it to make it meaningful to me. So I change it just a hair. So, but yeah, I'm gonna kind of keep it there today. And if
Thanks,
anybody's got a
Trevor.
question, you can hit me up. But we're gonna keep it short and sweet otherwise.
Thank you, Trevor.
I
Yeah.
got 5 new affirmations I'm very excited
Thank you.